Good morning, and thank you very much for your time. The factors that are really causing the severity of the summer fires to be more and more intense, in your view, from the research that we're seeing, counts invasive plants, rapid human population growth?
Good morning, Dan, and good morning to your viewers. I think you've started with the introduction, the very intense fires that we've had over the last 3 years in the Western Cape, as an indication that these future predictions about climate change is upon us. Climate change is not in the future anymore. These incidents where a fire has got, or wildfires need 3 things. It needs heat, it needs air, and it needs fuel. And over the last 3 years, in 2015, we had those very, very intense fires on Table Mountain, where I can recall one day going up and looking at the fires where the temperatures were 45 degrees, the wind speeds were up to 70 kilometers per hour, and it was the 3rd year of a drought. 2 years later, the Knysna fires occurred in 2017, and in 2018 we thought, okay, maybe we're off the hook because so much have burnt. And then the biggest fires that I can remember happened in the George area. 100,000 hectares burnt at once. So it's not just this is the new normal. Climate is changing, and we have to deal with it.
Now, besides the changing in the climate that makes the fire more intense and more frequent, we as humans, in what ways are we contributing? What has the department found are the human factors?
I would like to break that up into the first one you've already touched on, the effect of invasive alien plant species on fire intensity. Research has shown, we've done some economic analysis as well. The intensity of these, as has been reported in the press, the intensity of these fires as a result of the higher fuel loads, the biomass loads, the trees are much bigger than the fynbos. They burn much more intense under these extreme conditions of climate change, high temperatures, high winds. So then the third component of the fire, the fuel load, is just so much more, and you need so much more resources to contain that fire. So invasive alien plants have got a major impact on the intensity of fires and the difficulty to get them under control. The second thing that I think we're underestimating, we're underplaying this still, and that's the urban wildland interface. That area between urban areas and wildland areas where the two come together, and the way that we manage our infrastructure in that zone. People go and build houses in the fynbos with no breaks between the house and the fynbos, and sometimes even put a thatch roof on the place. So then you can expect to have the kind of challenges, and the person in the street and the land user, the land managers, must consider how we're going to create breaks in order not only to protect our infrastructure, but also to protect our biodiversity. These fires in the Western Cape, in the Kogelberg and Groenlandberg over the last 2 decades are busy causing major ecological damage with the shorter fire intervals.
Now, Christo, technically we're having a bit of a problem with your image, but I've got a last question for you very briefly before you go. In light of the fact that you say climate change is a reality, in light of the rapid urban population growth and movement, migration that you are seeing, and maybe infrastructure planning or lack thereof, is there anything we can do now to make sure that we manage this situation better, or is it too late?
No, it's not too late. It's never too late. The South African government is already doing it. We've got in the natural resource management programs in the Department of Environmental Affairs, the department has got 5,000 firefighters, people involved in firefighting right across the country to do integrated wildland fire management. That includes from fire breaks to fire prevention, to fire detection, etc., the whole suite of activities. So the government is doing its bit. Local governments are fast becoming much more proactive. Some of the local governments in the Western Cape are extremely aware of the ecological consequences of fires in those areas. So these local governments, the provincial government and the national government is really putting their money where their mouths are. However, the resources are never enough to do what we want. The land manager, though, is the person primarily responsible for fire management on his or her land. And that's where the fire breaks, the equipment that you need to contain a fire on your land when it comes onto your land. But fire breaks, the wildland urban interface, those are all areas that we need to research and need to find ways of optimizing our resources, allocating our resources in order to prevent disastrous fires.
Thank you very much. Christo Mare, he's from the Department of Environmental Affairs and he's the Director of Natural Resources.